Let's see. Oh, we are live. It is working. Hey, happy New Year's Eve, besties and bosses. How is everyone? I know a lot of you, I had actually a few of you message me that you won't be able to join live. I think many of you are already off to your celebrations. I know on the, I was gonna say on the East Coast, but we're on the East Coast. In Europe, it's getting near New Year's already. So for those of you close to that countdown, happy New Year's. I'm wishing everyone such a wonderful, happy, prosperous, healthy 2020 and decade ahead. For those of you who can join live and who are gonna catch this on the replay as well, I wanted to hop on because we always hop on Tuesdays, and I wanted to have one last hangout before we hit the new year here in the US. I'm upstate at my parents in New York, so we still have a few hours left. So before I go off to the festivities, wanted to hang with you and share some thoughts with all of you to close out this year and bring in the new year. I'm also curious, just as a side note, what are y'all doing? How did you bring in the new year? What are your celebration plans? We are, as a side note, we are going to, my cousin is having a party at his house. We're upstate out in the country with a massive bonfire. He sent me a picture earlier, and it's, I don't even know how much like lumber and wood with a tree at the top that we are going to set ablaze, which will hopefully keep us warm because we also had a hailstorm a little bit earlier. So nothing like some of that to bring in the new year. It'll be very interesting. Anyway, let me know what you all are doing to bring in the new year, and now we'll get started and chat with what I want to share with you today. So what I think is just so important for us to think about, you know, as we go into the new year, there's so much talk about resolutions and what we should be doing and how we should be setting intentions. And I know I've been sharing about the word of the year, which I'm personally a fan of, and I think it can get us a little bit into this mindset of how we should be doing it, how we can do it right. And that can also make us start feeling like maybe we're doing it wrong or we're missing out, and maybe there's a wrong or a right way. And just a whole lot of mindset chatter can come up. And I know with quite a few of my clients, we've been setting intentions and looking at the year ahead. And there's just been a couple things I've noticed that I really wanted to bring to the table. I also wanted to talk a little bit about New Year's resolutions. For all of you joining, like to all of you, each their own, do what works for you. If they work for you, awesome, have at it. Turn this live stream off, don't listen to what I'm saying, but I'm personally not a big fan of New Year's resolutions. Most people, I don't even know what the stats are, it's something crazy, like almost everyone within a few weeks drops their New Year's resolutions, and I think it has a lot to do with the mindset behind it. So I want to talk a little bit about the mindset that goes into resolutions, why I'm not a big fan of them, and how I personally love to close out the year and bring in the new year. And I think this is really applicable to all of us, yes, as we go into the new year, but I think this is also very applicable to our businesses and approaching setting goals in our businesses and how we set ourselves up for sustainable success instead of that crash and burn, high and low success we can so often see in business, and that can often come with resolutions and that all or nothing thinking. And hey, whoever just joined live, I'm so happy to have a few people with me. I also gotta say, this is the only time of the year I'm allowed to drink coffee this late in the day because I know it's gonna be a late night. So don't tell, I don't know who we would tell, but don't tell anyone. I'm totally drinking coffee at like 5:30 p.m., which I'm not usually allowed to do. So let's just start with the whole idea of New Year's resolutions. If you want to chat, chime in the chat box and tell me how you feel about New Year's resolutions. If you like them, if you stuck to them, feel free to share. I'd love to hear your opinion. Here's what I find for most of us. Again, no wrong or right. If they've worked for you, if you've done them, I'm so not here to tell you how to set up your new year. What I found for the majority of us when we're setting resolutions, these tend to come from this mindset and space of, it's the end of the year, I need to do something. I'm gonna have like this thought process of what should I be doing? So they come from a lot of those shoulds. What should I be doing? What should I be thinking? What goals should I be setting? Whenever we get into that should mindset, a lot of times that is very outside focused. So we're looking outside of ourselves. What's everyone else doing? What is that person doing? What's that person doing? And we tend to set goals and resolutions from this headspace. The other thing I find for a lot of us when we're setting things like resolutions, and this can again come up in business as well, and this is a mindset I really want to invite you to drop as we close and go into the new year, is a lot of times when we're setting those resolutions, we're coming from a lack mindset and from a place of a lack of enoughness. So what I mean by this is we start to look at all the areas in our life that we feel like we're lacking, that we feel like we're not enough. You know, we look at maybe we're setting fitness goals and all the ways we're not measuring up and we wish we could be a certain way. Or we look at our finances and we look at all the ways we're not measuring up or we're not feeling enough or all the places we're lacking. And we get into this very needy, wanting energy. There's nothing wrong with wanting and desiring, but a lot of times we get into this needy, wanting energy from a place of lack. It's very desperate. It's very graspy. It's the complete opposite end of gratitude. And we end up in a mindset of, quite honestly, lack. Here are all the things I'm lacking, and now I'm going to make this laundry list of resolutions of things I think I should be doing to fill in this space of lack. And a lot of times we're also coming from that place of, here are all the ways I feel like I'm not enough. I'm not measuring up. I've looked outside myself. I'm not doing the things I should be doing. I'm not the weight I should be. I'm not working out the way I should be. I'm not eating the way I should be. I'm not making the money I should be. I don't have the clients I should. Fill in the laundry list. All of this comes from a lack of enoughness, from a place of feeling not good enough. And then we set these goals and resolutions. Now, I don't know about you, but I know very few people who create sustainable success from a place of feeling not good enough, from a place of lack. You can absolutely create results from a place of lack, but here's the other problem with that. When we're coming from a place of lack and enoughness, and we do actually follow through and create results, the energy we bring into a result, the energy we bring into our business, into any kind of goal, is the energy we're going to have when we have that result that we're going to ask ourselves to maintain. So we'll use business as an example. If I set a resolution from a place of lack, from a place of not feeling good enough, that I need to make X amount of money, when I do achieve that, what I have told myself is I have to constantly create a feeling of not feeling good enough, and I have to essentially create a hole or some sort of drama to fill to be able to create more. And we create this perpetual cycle of needing to create more lack and more feelings of not good enough to drive us forward, because that's how we've learned to create results. More often than not, most resolutions, we drop them within a few weeks, and more often than not, we feel shitty and we don't actually follow through because they're so misaligned, those goals and resolutions. But if we actually do follow through, we just create this cycle, and that's where we see those ebbs and flows, those highs and lows in businesses. That's where we tend to lack our sustainability with business results, with health results. It's that crash and burn. It's that mentality of, I don't feel great about myself, I'm going to crash diet, and I will reach whatever my weight loss goal is. It's not sustainable, and the only way I know how to maintain it is to kind of let the pendulum swing the other way, maybe binge eat or do something sabotaging, and then create another feeling of not feeling good enoughness and create that hole I need to fill. And that's how we create that kind of like up and down yo-yo dieting, that crash and burn, like Sunday night, I'm going to start a new diet tomorrow. It's the same thing with resolutions and with business goals. And hey, whoever just joined in for my rant on resolutions. So again, if resolutions work for you, please, by all means, keep doing what's working for you. For everyone else in the world where the resolutions are something that tend to come from this place of lack and not feeling good enough and get dropped by, someone needs to look up the stats. I think it's something like the 13th of January. It's really soon into the year where most people drop their resolutions. And this is really why I believe it happens. I would love to share some other approaches I think are really empowering for us in terms of starting the new year, in terms of starting a new decade, but really all of the time in terms of a mindset for approaching our business if we want success that is achievable and sustainable. Because I know bless you, I sneeze in the other room. I know my clients are not just looking for success one time and to be that one-hit wonder. They want that sustainable success. I think most of us do. And so that's what I want to share a little bit about. I'm going to give you one more thought as I take a sip of my late night coffee. One more thought in these resolutions before we switch gears into some of my favorite practices. When we are taking this approach of setting our goals, our resolutions from this place of lack and from not feeling good enough, what we tend to perpetuate as well when we inevitably don't reach those goals because they're not aligned and they don't feel good to us, and willpower, rarely, like that grunt pushing energy, rarely is what will create sustainability in our lives, business or personal. We erode our self-trust. So when you say you're going to do something and you don't follow through, you're breaking a commitment you've made with yourself. The same way if you promise a friend you're going to meet them for, let's say, a cocktail, and you don't show up, you erode that trust with them. The same way if you make a promise to a partner that you're going to do something for them and you don't follow through, you erode that trust with those people. If we make promises with ourselves, I say I'm going to do this thing, I'm making a resolution, and we don't follow through, we erode our self-trust, the trust we have with ourselves, which is one of the most important things when it comes to business success and creating sustainability. If you look at any business owner who's creating massive epic success, if you look at outside of business, at anyone who's creating that epic success, one of the core traits you'll start to see they have is this unwavering, unshakable self-trust. It is such a crucial mindset and asset that we have and that we need to cultivate as business owners, that part of that CEO mindset. And so when we're setting resolutions, goals, whether it's in business or in our personal lives, from this place of lack and coming from this place of not feeling good enough, or, the place of should, and it's misaligned and we don't then follow through, we erode that self-trust. And so not only are we reinforcing the story where we feel like we're lacking or where we feel like we're not good enough, we're starting to break down this very crucial trait of self-trust. Let me know if this is making sense for those of you who have joined live and for anyone watching on the replay, hopefully not too hungover in the new year. I know a lot of you watching the replay. So it's just so important we think about these things. I know it's like New Year's and who cares, we can do whatever we want, and absolutely. Parth says self-image. Absolutely. We're all talking about that self-image, that belief, that inside out success, it always starts with us, and self-image is a beautiful way to phrase it. So I know, it can almost seem like, well, who cares, resolutions, who cares how we bring in the new year? But again, how we do one thing is how we do all things. And when we are talking about things like enoughness, and when we're talking about things like self-trust, these are such important parts of our self-image, our CEO identity, our mindset in our business that are directly correlated with our success and the sustainability of our success, and honestly the way we feel. Because I don't know about you, but success, money, all of that is one thing, which is beautiful. I think that's something we all want if you're here and if we're in this space. But the reason we do all of those things, the reason we want all of those things, is to inherently feel good. The reason we are all in a personal development space is to have a better quality of life. So if we're eroding these things that make us feel good if we have them and make us feel like shit otherwise, we're kind of defeating the whole purpose of building businesses we love. Parth says, self-image really plays a very crucial role in staying consistent. We cannot surpass our self-image no matter how hard we try. And then I cut off. You're speaking my language. Thank you for that reflection. It's absolutely true. It's really difficult to create a level of success that's higher than our level of mind. I know I talk about this all the time, and that's exactly what Parth, let me know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I believe it's Parth. What Parth is speaking to. We can't surpass the self-image we have, the level of mind we have, the identity we have. And so what we want to make sure we're doing is that we're strengthening our self-image, we're strengthening our identity, we're stepping into that CEO identity, that next level of identity we want to have in the new year and always as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as human beings in this world. And what we're not doing is unintentionally sabotaging the way we see ourselves and eroding the self-trust, the image, the enoughness, and coming from this place of lack. So thank you for that reflection. That's beautifully said. All right, so hopefully I'm again, not hating on the resolutions, but I think we want to just be really mindful with the way we are approaching our goals, our intentions, what we're bringing into the new year. And so I want to offer some of my personal practices that I love, some of the things I'm seeing my clients doing, what I've been supporting clients with as we're going into the new year. Take what works for you. I really want to drill this in. There is no wrong or right way. Just because I'm talking about this today does not mean you now tomorrow need to go do exactly what I'm talking about. However, if some of this resonates with you, I'd really invite you to try some of this on for size and see how it works for you with your mindset and in your business. So I'll share just a few practices here that I find to be really powerful, so that we're coming into the new year and always really in our business, from a place of abundance, from fullness. It's such a different place to create from fullness and abundance than from that lack. If we're creating from abundance, then we can remain abundant, right? How we bring that energy into what we have, versus if we create from a place of lack, we have to keep creating holes and problems so that we can keep creating more. And also how to create these intentions for the new year from a place of feeling enough and from a place of self-trust and seeing what's possible. And I think you'll see it's such a shift. And I think here's the crazy thing. When we come from this mindset and headspace, in some ways, we suddenly don't need all the same things in our life because we feel so abundant and full and good enough. And ironically, this is the place where we're able to create exponentially more and have those quantum leaps in business and in our personal life. So it's kind of a mindfuck that way. The more we feel full, abundant, enough, the more we kind of don't need anymore. It's that detachment place, the more we're able to create more. So one thing some of my clients really love to do that I think can be quite powerful, just as a place to start with, is just thinking about what are some of the things you want to let go of as we go into the new year. I think there's, we're having that bonfire, right? I might throw something into the bonfire just so to release a mindset or to release a way of being. What I will say with this is one of those things, it's so great to talk about. This is what I'm going to leave in 2019. What I don't want us to get into is another place of making ourselves wrong, or another mindset of here are all the ways I'm not enough. We want to be really careful here that we're more looking at what are the things I'm just ready to release, what am I ready to let go of. And a question I always like to ask myself is, how has whatever I'm letting go of, whatever I'm releasing, how has it served me? And not to make myself wrong, not like how has this served me and how have I held on to this limiting belief and here are all the ways I'm wrong, but really to have some compassion with myself, to see here are the reasons I chose whatever I'm letting go of. Here are the ways it has served me. And here are maybe some of the reasons I'm a little scared to let go of this, whether it's a mindset or a practice or a habit or a pattern or way of being, because it has served me in the past, to come from such a place of compassion and love for myself. And then to get clear on, what are maybe some of the resistance or some of the fear I have around letting this go, so that I can be really clear on that and let it go from this really clean, neutral energy and replace it with something that feels more empowering. Let me know if that makes sense, because I think that's a much larger conversation that doesn't always make sense on a live stream. So that's one practice that I think can just be really nice to play around with and just to be mindful of. Am I coming from a place of, I'm going to have compassion, I'm going to forgive myself, I'm going to release this, I'm going to see how it served me and choose something more empowering? Or am I coming from this idea of, I'm going to release this from a place of, here are all the ways I'm making myself wrong, and here are all the ways I've sucked in the past, which is not empowering at all and does not serve us. Hopefully the distinction makes sense. It's sort of, what's the thing that I keep seeing online? 2018 was the year that broke me, and 2019 is the year that whatever, and 2020 is going to be the year that I kick ass. And it's almost like this, like, here are all the ways the past has been wrong and I've been wrong and I'm going to be not wrong in the future. That's not the mindset I want any of you to come into the new year with. It's how can I always make myself right and see that I've always chosen the best strategy I've known how in the moment, and how can I learn from that strategy that I've chosen in that past, that mindset I've chosen in that past? How can I have some compassion to see why I chose that strategy in the past and choose something different? So hopefully that distinction makes sense for all of you. Other practice I personally love that I spent some time this morning journaling, and tomorrow I'll spend a lot more time on this, is it's a year-end review, and it sets us up to come from a really abundant place to bring in the new year. So what I mean here is what I like to do, and I picked this up, years ago when I was actually in coach training. Someone in some challenge gave me a part of this, and I've added pieces on over the year. So I don't actually know. I wish I could give them credit who gave this to me, because I love it. But I like to go through every month of the year and jot down all of the celebrations, all of the lessons. I actually go through my income as well, because from a business standpoint, I track some of my metrics, and I just like to see how the metrics have changed. So I'm looking at some really practical things as well as personal growth and just celebrations over the month. And I really take some time with this. And I do like to ask myself some questions, what are some of the lessons I learned each month? Where were the opportunities for growth? Where, now that I have the hindsight of 2020, how might I have done something differently? Not to come from a place of making myself wrong, but just from, I'm coming from a new mindset. How can I learn from this? And I like to thank myself, and I like to celebrate like crazy each of those celebrations, and just to see a few things, to see the evidence of how much is possible in a year, to see the evidence of how, the mindset I had in January, the actions I took in January, the different elements of growth and lessons I had in January, how maybe a challenging situation in January gave me this beautiful opportunity for growth, how that set me up for success in February, or maybe even in September, so that I can start to connect those dots. It's the Steve Jobs quote, you can't connect the dots looking forward, only connect the dots looking backwards. We don't often give ourselves that gift to see how we've been planting the seeds in our business all along. And it's so easy to arrive at a new level of success in your business and just to be forward facing, just to be looking forward. And it's like we just want, it's coming from that lack mindset again, and not enoughness, right? I just want more, I just want more, I just want more. It's not enough, it's not enough, it's not enough. Versus look at how much I've grown. Look at how everything I've done over the different months has helped me to grow. Look at the lessons I've had, and look at how the seeds I've planted have started to grow and created different levels of success. And I think that is such a powerful thing for us to be able to see that evidence. When you have that evidence, you start to see how everything you're doing now will play out the same way in 2020 in an even bigger way. That evidence is so, so crucial. And it's such a different way of thinking. It comes from that place of enoughness and that place of power versus that place of, how do I get to the next level? How do I get to the next level? How do I get to the next level? This isn't enough. Let me know if that's making sense. The other thing that I think is just so crucial that I like to do before looking forward to the year ahead is to really spend some time in deep celebration and gratitude. So I don't want to, I'm probably going a little long-winded today. I will blame it on the 5:30 caffeine that I might regret later tonight, but I think this is the best decision ever. Before we get into looking at the year forward, what I really like to do is spend time in that celebration for each of those little tiny wins, everything I can think of, and really celebrate what I did to make those things happen, who I've become in the process, why those things are important to celebrate. Celebration is a form of gratitude, and gratitude is one of the most proven ways we can, boost our happiness. It is neurologically been shown to help us rewire our brain. It is proven to help us sell more. People who practice gratitude and think from that positive headspace, I mean, I could just rattle off the stats here in terms of make more money, have more successful businesses, are happy. It eases anxiety, it beats depression, all of the things. Celebration is a form of gratitude. The other thing with celebration that's really powerful, I did a bunch of research on this. I think I'm the only one who talks about this, so I'm going to claim that I did the research on this. But when we celebrate, we actually fire up the reward center in our brain. The reward center in our brain releases dopamine. And this is the same thing that's released when you do cocaine, when you gamble, any of those addictive qualities. And if we think about what dopamine does and those addictive qualities, let's say we'll use gambling. That seems a little better than cocaine, but it's the same mechanism in our brain. The same thing that's being fired up when we release dopamine, the same neurotransmitter that's being released. We first get a hit of feeling really good. Feeling good is the name of the game. If you want to create more in business, feeling good, that is the positive mindset, right? That is the energy and space that we manifest from, whether you believe in science in the brain or you believe in woo in the universe. So first we get that emotion, that hit of feeling good. This is why gratitude is so powerful. This is why celebration is so powerful. And here is the fascinating thing with celebration. When we're releasing that dopamine also causes us to want and crave more of what gave us that hit of feeling good in the first place. That's what creates that addictive quality of something like gambling or cocaine. It's firing this reward center in our brain. It's firing up dopamine. We're releasing dopamine. We're getting that hit. I feel really good. And we instantly crave more of what caused us to feel good in the first place. So when we celebrate, and says, I always preaching to clients to celebrate, it's not just about feeling good. It is absolutely about giving ourselves that evidence, because if we can celebrate every little thing, we have that evidence of how all those little actions we take compound over time, over the year. You can actually see the compound effect in real life, and you can see what those results are. And we are literally allowing ourselves to get addicted to those actions that created that we're celebrating. So we can get addicted to the small tasks, the small actions we're doing to build our business. And that's a healthy addiction, right? That's a healthy addiction to success, not in that coming from a place of I need more or I'm lacking. It's coming from this really full place of this feels really good. And it's such a powerful mindset and headspace to be in. And here's what's fascinating. When we then do this and we start to then look at the year ahead, this is when I love to think about, and then what are some of my intentions for the year ahead? What do I want to put down on paper? What would be so lovely to create? We are coming from a full place of abundance. We're coming from a full place of enoughness. We're coming from this place of I'm seeing the evidence of all of the actions I've taken and that compound effect and how I want to show up more because I've been celebrating. I've gotten that dopamine hit. It is such a different place than to put pen to paper for what we want to create in the year ahead. Let me know if you're picking up what I'm putting down, if that makes sense. It's a little bit of the brain science geekery. It's also a little bit of the woo and manifesting. If you believe in manifesting, this is such a powerful place to manifest from. If you believe in brain science, I believe in both. I think they're really the same thing. It just depends what language you speak. If you believe in the brain science and how our brain works and how our brain supports us to create success, that's what we're talking about here. Here is the other deal, and then I promise I'll get off my soapbox and let y'all drink your champagne and enjoy your new year, those of you watching the replay as well. Here's the deal. When we are coming from this place of celebration and gratitude, we're practicing gratitude for our whole entire year, all the good, and we're juicing ourselves up with that really powerful feeling of gratitude and abundance. Here's what's fascinating. Suddenly, we are so full, we realize, holy shit, I have it so good. I don't actually need anything. I'm not lacking. I'm suddenly not coming from this place of I need, I'm desperate, I want. We come from this place of I am so full, I already have enough. I am so damn lucky. I am so grateful. I am so just juiced up, and I don't know why I'm using the word juiced up. I sound like a bodybuilder. But I am just so full of gratitude and that emotion of gratitude. This is why gratitude is so powerful, right? That I don't really need anything else. Y'all, this is the headspace I want you to come into the new year with, because suddenly we are detached. Suddenly we realize we're enough. Suddenly it's all good, and we can set intentions of what we intend to add on to. What, it's absolutely wonderful. The better it gets, the better it gets. We always want to be growing and creating more. But suddenly we're coming from such a different place of, instead of SMART goals and I need to have this expectation that I'm going to hit this goal in 2 weeks, or that means I'm not enough, or coming from a place of making ourselves wrong, or coming from a place of I'm going to punish myself and give myself these really strict rules and guidelines of all the things I have to do in January to make myself good enough and right. We come from this place of it's all good, and if nothing changes, it's all good. And I can then set an intention of wouldn't it be nice if I also stepped into this? I can set an intention of who I want to be in the new year. I can set an intention of what I want to layer on that would be so beautiful and just make me that much more grateful. But we take that sense of, not urgency, because I think a little urgency in business isn't a bad thing, but we take that sense of desperation and lack and neediness out of it, and we come from this it's all good either way energy, which is such a powerful energy. It is a little bit of that lean back energy of enoughness versus that pushing, proving, desperate, needy energy with our goals and resolutions. Let me know if y'all are picking up on this and if this is making sense. So personally, I like to vision a little bit. I'm a big visualizer. So from this really full place, I think I picked this up from Gabby Bernstein, wouldn't it be nice if, and I like to visualize what are the things that I would love to call in and bring in the new year and step into. And then I really like to set some intentions around, and who am I stepping into? Who do I want to be? Who do I need to be to create this next level of success? This is how we create sustainability, y'all, because this is the energy that attracts more. This is the energy of enoughness. This is the energy that, again, takes us out of that lack mindset. So we don't have those high and lows. We're not having that crash and burn, that crash diet approach to our new year. So I like to do a little visualizing or written visualizing, set some intentions really powerfully around what I'm intending for the new year, and most importantly, how I'm intending to believe and how I'm intending to show up, who I'm intending to be. And we can call it an intention or a decision. I talk a lot about the power of making decisions. I think a decision is such a powerful word. When we decide something is true, we decide we're making it happen. So I like to set a few decisions for what I'm deciding I'm going to step into, what I'm deciding will be true in 2020. But I release that need for it to happen on a certain timeline. I'm not a huge fan of the SMART goals, kind of for the same reason of resolutions. I think they're really great. Side note, they're really great for helping us reach those bigger goals, but that'll be a whole different live stream why I'm not a big fan of SMART goals. But I really just like to set some of this intentionality, some decisions around what I'm going to create in the new year. And I think that gives me a lot of space to dream big. I don't know if that's the word I want to use. Visualize largely, to have these bigger thoughts. Wouldn't it be nice to really stretch my capacity from this place of abundance of how much is possible? Because I've also seen all the evidence of what I've already created in 1 year, right? That's where that evidence piece is really powerful. Wow, if I can create this in 1 year and now I'm here, imagine how much more is possible. And so I do like to stretch that container, because we have to think it before we are it, before we create it. Absolutely. Stretch that container, but really give myself that freedom to come from that very detached energy and place where it's coming from fullness and abundance and it's all good. So that is, hopefully that made sense for y'all. That is the way I love to approach the new year, the way I love to approach goal setting and setting those bigger visions for ourselves, whether it's in your personal life or in your business. I think it's a lot more freeing. I think it also, while it's a lot more freeing, it also gives us it's a larger parameter for what's actually possible and seeing how much we really are capable of. And I think that's really, really powerful. So take and borrow any and all of these pieces that resonate with you. If you're watching on the replay in the new year, let me know what resonated with you. Let me know if you have any questions. I can break this down more if you'd like to. If you want to hear more about my thoughts on SMART goals or just approaching some of this, please, please, please share with this. I would just love to close out with just a reminder that you are so much more capable than you give yourself credit for. And I think the more we can see that evidence and really step into that mindset of enoughness, the more we're able to see that. And it's such a different place to bring in the new year when we're coming from, I trust myself, I know I'm enough, I know I'm full and abundant, and how much more, wouldn't it be nice if, how much more can I step into that I can actually believe and get behind, that's really aligned, versus what should I be doing, or here are all the reasons I think I'm wrong, and so I need to punish myself with some really strict rule of, I don't know, whatever the 0 to 60 way, we'll let that pendulum swing when we're coming from that place of not enoughness. So just that reminder for all of you, you are so freaking capable. Look at that evidence from this past year and really would love to invite you to set yourself up for real sustainable success in 2020 versus that crash and burn diet approach to business, that, the start the diet on Sunday night approach or on Monday morning. Really loved, like, let's leave that in 2019. I think that if nothing else, that is one mentality, one mindset we can just leave behind and really take this sustainable approach for real success. And with that, I'm just, again, so grateful to have you all here. I have been reflecting on just my personal growth and business growth. I feel very, very grateful and just so blessed to have all you here, share this space with you. So thank you all for being in this group and hanging out with me. I cannot wait for 2020. One of my intentions is really to step into serving and impacting people positively even more than I have been, and finding new and innovative ways to do so. So I really am excited to share some of that with you and be able to serve you on a deeper level. So looking forward to that in 2020 with all of you, and just wishing you such a wonderful, beautiful New Year's Eve celebration and a very happy, prosperous, and healthy 2020 and decade ahead. We're going into a new decade. I mean, that is crazy. Do some of these reflections for the whole decade and you'll blow your own damn mind. So that is all of my love for you to close out 2019, and I will see you next year. And we'll be back next week with another live stream and all sorts of fun for January. Lots of love and Happy New Year.